Today it is all about the second generation of the all famous NU25, both the standard edition and the ultralight. But one can't do a review on an update without mentioning the original, because the question is it any better and is it worth an upgrade? Well, we will come back to that a little bit later on during this episode with a good answer to that question. In today's episode I will talk about what I liked and what I didn't like about the old version, and then go in and see about the new and updated NU25s and see about the specs, the features and the performance, and see if it is an improvement or a disappointment. This is the truth about the NU25 Generation 2. Stay tuned. Hi and welcome to a new episode and to the channel, and like always, if you find this episode interesting and useful in any way, please consider subscribing. It means a lot to me and it helps this channel going forward. Let's start out by talking a little bit about the first impressions and the differences between the NU25 and the ultralight versions, because the headlamp is exactly the same on both and the only difference is the bracket and the headbands. The NU25 has a bracket for a thicker headband and a quick release system for being able to remove it easily if needed. The NU25 Ultralight, on the other hand, has a bracket to be used for shock cord, and the one included is a much simpler and lighter headband, all in the favor of a low weight, and very much inspired by the DIY headbands that many of us made for the old version. The total weight with the included headband of the NU25 is 55 grams, while the NU25UL weighs in at 45 grams. They are not exactly the same size due to the brackets, but they are about 60 millimeters wide, 33 millimeters high and 25 millimeters thick. The old 2017 version is a really popular headlamp amongst ultralight hikers, and it has sufficient light, it has a decent battery and a good red light, and all at a really low weight, only 35 grams with a DIY modification on the headband. Even if the old version is a really great headlamp, it has its downsides. First of all, the bracket is a weak point and breaks easily, and I've heard a lot of people with that exact problem. Secondly, the battery could be a little bit better, but for me, I haven't had any problems. 5 hours in 190 lumens is okay. Thirdly, the max output, the 360 lumens, could only be used for a short time, 30 seconds, before it would overheat, making it almost useless. And finally, the micro USB port is not a standard anymore. Now, the interesting thing to see if these downsides are fixed with the new Generation 2 or not. Now, time to take a look at the new and updated versions, the Generation 2 of the NU25s, and see about the updates and what they have fixed. First up is the looks. Like you can see, nothing is kept from the old design, but I kind of like the corny retro feeling of the old one, but sure, the new one looks a bit more up to date. The micro USB port is now changed to USB-C, and the bracket is completely new. A stronger construction it seems, but also a little bit heavier compared to the old version. The brackets and the headbands are tailored to the specific model like we talked about earlier, and the one on the standard one is a great update in my opinion. But the one on the ultralight, well, it is clearly a copy of the DIY headbands, but I can't understand why they made it so thick, strange I would say, and heavy. They could have made it much lighter, thinner and less complicated to save a couple of grams. The max 360 lumens is now updated to 400 lumens and with a burn time of 2 hours and 40 minutes instead of 30 seconds. Now that is a great update and makes it actually possible to be used in situations when extra light is needed. The battery is also bigger, 650 milliamps compared to 610, but it doesn't show much on the actual burn times. Instead, they focused on other improvements like having a 60 lumens as next level output instead of the 38 and a 10 hours and 25 minutes of burn time. And 60 lumens is actually okay to be used for pitching your tent and hiking in the dark as well, if not walking into technical terrain. Besides the already mentioned features, they also added a battery indicator and a lot of different light modes, and that takes us to the features. For the features, let's go through the different light modes, and just like the old version, it is controlled by using a 2-button system. I don't know if you can see it, we're trying to focus just like that, yep. It is a little bit tricky to be used in the beginning, but once you have learned it, it is quite easy. If we press and hold the main big button, we enter the mix 60 lumens. Click again and you will have the mix 200, and again to get to the mix 400 mode. Press and hold to turn off. The mix mode is both the spot and the floodlight at the same time, making the light very wide and long at the same time. Double click the main and you enter the super low 6 lumens floodlight. Press and hold to turn off, or click to enter the 3 main mix lights 60, 200 and 400 lumens. Press and hold the small mode button to enter the 10 lumen red light, and click the main to enter the red flashing light. Press and hold to turn off. If double clicking the mode button, you will get directly to the SOS beacon. If you then click on the big main button, you will get the strobing light. Press and hold to turn off. You can also use the spotlight mode only by pressing and hold the main and then press mode button. You then toggle through the spotlight mode 60 and 200 lumens by pressing the main. If pressing the mode again, you enter the floodlight at 60 and 200 lumens. Press and hold any button to turn off. Now I know it has way too many features, but the ones that you actually need is pretty easy accessible, and it takes very little time to learn how to navigate using the 2 buttons, just like the old version. Now that is all about the features, and let's see about the performance out in the dark. I will now show you the different main modes that you will most likely use. Going through them will just take too much time, and who uses a red flashing light or a beacon anyways, right? This is the mix 60 lumens, mix 200 lumens, and the mix 400 lumens. Now if we instead choose the spotlight 60, it has a much narrower light, but a few meters longer compared to the mix, and the same goes for the 200 lumens. Now the 6 lumens floodlight, the 60 lumen, and the 200 lumens floodlight. All a nice to have feature and a bit wider but shorter light. The red 10 lumens I would say is just as good as the old 13 lumens, so perfect for keeping the night vision intact, both yours and your friends. Finally, we have the 400 lumens SOS beacon. What I don't like about the new NU25s is that it has way too many features. There's no need for a red flashing light or a strobing light or both the spotlight and the floodlight, and it would have been enough with just the mix mode. My guess is because you will have to remember all of these different modes that you will just use the ones that has a direct shortcut, like the 3 main mix modes, the 6 lumens floodlight and the red 10. The second dislike and a bigger disappointment is that the ultralight version is heavier than the old version. Not even with a new DIY headband it will be as light. The things I like, on the other hand, is the new battery indicator that shows 4 different levels of charge, and that the bracket seems to be much stronger. The use of a USB-C connection for charging instead of the old micro USB, and the 60 lumens mixed light is a great update, and to have over 10 hours of good enough light for hiking is great. Now the question is, do I recommend you buying the new NU25s, and is it good enough also for an upgrade if you already own the 2017 version? If you don't own the old version and want a good, reliable and lightweight headlamp for your ultralight system or keeping your weight down, I believe that the 2 new versions of the NU25s is a good choice. But if you already own the old 2017 version that is lighter, has almost the same specs and features, I wouldn't pay the extra money just to get an upgrade, to get the USB-C, the battery indicator and a stronger bracket, unless your old one breaks and you really need those 400 lumens. Sorry Nitecore, but that is the truth. But that is just my 2 cents of the new generation of the NU25. Now the more important one, what do you think? Is it a better choice? Does it look better? Is it really an upgrade? Or did they make it worse? What do you think? Tell us all about it by leaving a comment. But for now, this is it, and if you liked today's episode, take a look at these 2 recommendations on my other videos. Also do hit like, subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any future content. I hope to see you again next week, but for now, take care, safe hiking and Bye bye.